It's hard to keep up with the Zoomers in this game, man.
Yo,
It
what's good?
truly is.
What's good, Koosta?
So,
How you been, man?
good, good. Excited to
Cool.
play.
Yeah, so I have so many questions coming your way right now just because in CS:GO you played under like tons of top IGLs, right? And in Val, I was talking to Kyler before the stream started, and he said you wanted to take over IGLing like halfway through the year. And since then you've been kind of at the helm. How's it been? And like where have you drawn, I guess, your ideas from? Like where have you drawn your philosophies on in-game leading from, and how's it been going?
I think there's been some rough patches. Like sometimes I'll have stretches where I think I'm calling really well, especially mid round, and like adjusting what we're doing, um, the heat of the moment. And sometimes I just kind of make like lazy calls, right? Because I don't know what it is. I'm just not as creative some days. But that's something I've been struggling with and I'm trying to fix. But um, yeah, like you've said, I've played there are a lot of like well-respected IGLs. I think Tim Automatic has helped me a lot with my calling, or just as far as like how I look at the game, how I look at the map, like where we take control and then what to do after, and just like general fundamental stuff like um, the pack works in terms of taking map control, like who takes initiative, why we do certain things, and it's also like a big stress on the how we do different things, how we execute. Um, and then people like App Steel, FNS, they were when I was playing with them at least, we would bring like a lot more full rounds. And so kind of saw what they liked in those rounds. I guess it's mostly just like changes of pace. And I mean, I've been around a lot of people that have helped me learn a lot about the game. And I think it sparked an interest in wanting to call.
Yeah, I think you've done a really, really good job, man. I'm gonna keep it real. Like I have watched a lot of the Gen.G games, obviously, because I'm on Gen.G and I like to co-stream them when I see you guys playing. And I really like the change of paces you guys have on a lot of the maps, particularly Icebox. I thought you guys had a lot of like really cool, quirky strats to gather like the 4 spy rounds, like tube splits and a lot of cool little looks that you guys have. So I think you've done a really good job so far with the team. And I know maybe even listeners might think that your answer was vague, but I totally get it, right? Because Valorant is a game that has recharging abilities and ultimates, right? And the economy that CS has and the map control. It has all of the features of CS and it has additional layers that you have to take into account as an in game leader. So, yeah, it can definitely, I mean, I'm sure that feels so overwhelming at times.
Yeah, first, thanks for the compliment. And it can be a little overwhelming. I think it's mostly just hard to, like you said, manage all the utility. I think in this game, it's more of an individual effort because it's really hard to just tell all four other players like, I want you to drone this, I want you to smoke this, I want you to flash that. So that's
Yeah.
something you have to just like go over, and everyone has to understand why and how we do different things. And hopefully, it just comes together in the server.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of viewers right now could probably relate to that frustration because they can compare their stuff to ranked, right? You can't just join a game as an in-game leader in Valorant and tell 4 different people what to do in freeze time and then also have the bigger picture at play, right? You don't have time for that. Nor do you have yeah, like the people that are playing don't have time to do their setups and also hear what you have to say, especially if you're like fourth in line in being told what to do, right? So Valorant is a very protocol heavy and like preparation heavy game. And I definitely think you guys have had a lot of problems with like roster changes and role changes. Do you think coming into this year that you guys have finally found, the stable roster? And how do you feel about the roles? Because the roles have been all over. Like you've gone from Sentinels to Jet. And I mean, I don't even know what I'm going to see out of you this year. I'm not going to lie, man.
I might be back on Sentinels. Um, yeah, roster changes are tough. I think last year we were just all playing different roles on basically every map. And I don't think that like I think if you are actually trying to play like that and you learn how to play like that, you can do it. But it's kind of probably not the most optimal way to go. Um, People are just always like out of their comfort zones, and I mean, I think it helped us a lot in terms of learning like what we expect from players in those roles now. Like, say your teammate was playing Sky or something, and just throwing like the worst flashes, or like he's like not using his utility, right? You're like, when I go back on Sky, like I'm gonna be supporting extremely well. So
Yeah.
um,
It's also like you get this subconscious intuition, almost like a game sense of when you come up to a smoke, you have a good idea of when a Sky wants to pop flash out of it.
yeah.
It's weird things that you gather subconsciously from playing the agents. So, like you said, I'm super happy about that approach that you guys had last year. I just hope that this year it kind of reins in a little bit because I think there was too many moving pieces last year. Because what I heard is you guys were owning in scrims last year. I don't know how true that was, but like going into LCQ, I I was so optimistic about the team. Like I don't know, can you reflect back on last year? I'm not sure if you remember some of those games, but like what was your mindset like going into those games? Did you feel like in practice you guys were a really really good team and then you were let down in the matches, or do you think that, that team just didn't have what it took?
I definitely think we were forming. Like, we just weren't able to show what we could do in matches, and it was just unfortunate for us.
Yeah.
I think we worked really hard to. We practiced pretty hard, and we just weren't able to put it together, no matter how hard we tried. So it was just kind of sad, honestly. Excuse me.
Good.
I mean, I don't really have much else to say. Like,
No, yeah, that's totally understandable because you guys didn't. It was really unlucky. That's why I told GMD is you guys only played in VCT last year. I don't know if that was like a restriction, the restriction thing from Riot or what, but I noticed that looking at the past matches that there just wasn't a lot of matches and there wasn't a lot of like footage and opportunities to like get your feet wet in these environments and feel what it's like in a match server, take the loss on the chin and then come back next week with a new game plan. There was really never any opportunities like that for you guys in 2021. So I think that was just really unlucky because it's one of the few teams that I look at and I look at your match page and I'm just like, there's just no matches.
yeah, yeah, that's why I'm looking forward to this league format because we can actually improve upon what we learned from matches. There was a restriction last year where, like, if you made it to the closed qualifier or something, you can't play in like those Nerd Street $25,000 tournaments and stuff. So we just were never able to get any practice in like official matches outside of CT, like you said.
Yeah.
And I think we're a team that learns a lot from matches too. At least for me, I'm pretty new to calling, so I remember one specific match last year against 100 Thieves. We are playing on split, and like they were just destroying our mid control. And I was able to go back and look at it and like into the team like, yo, if they're doing this, like this is what we can do. But then we just weren't in like we didn't play any matches after that loss, so it
Yeah.
didn't matter.
Yeah, it's so brutal. It's such a brutal environment to run into as a pro player because yeah, you might not run into another match, and you might run into another match but not get that map, or you might
Yeah.
get that map but not run into the same comp. So it's like, did we just waste our time creating this protocol? And I totally get it. It's like a game of cat and mouse, and it felt like the team was always in an awkward spot trying to catch up last year. So I'm gonna kind of pivot around here. I'm going to the chat now because this is we're going all over. I want to know the answer to this. How did you come up with your gamer tag? And this is from Choco Minty.
Um, I think when I was like 4 or 5, my brother's 12 years older than me, so he was playing Counter Strike back then, and I was just running around in pubs. He used to call me Kensta. That was like his nickname for me when I was like 5. And my mother's maiden name is Koo. That's my brother's like alias or whatever. So when I grew up, I just combined the two. Not very interesting.
That's pretty sick. I like the sound of your name. It works really good. Like as a caster, it rolls off the tongue really easy. So I appreciate it. There's some names I don't like. I don't like very much. I'm not gonna name those, but hard to say.
Trying to think of
Let's
some,
see.
but
Yeah, it's mostly honestly like 4-letter acronyms. It's just like you can't say them. Those
yeah,
are
like
really
some
weird.
guy young in CS, STY.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
wouldn't know that his name.
Exactly, exactly. And then what's more important, insane aim or insane game sense, and why?
I think it depends on what you're trying to do. I think
Yeah.
focusing on your aim, probably gonna have more fun. Like you're just gonna have rounds where you walk in and like kill 5 people. But I think for competitive success, it's very important to try to be like a smarter player. Obviously, you still need to be able to multi-frag. So the answer is a mixture of both. But I mean, if I was just trying to have fun and ranked and stuff, I would just focus on my aim. That's what I used to do when I first started playing. Is like I would just run around with an op in CS and just think like I'm just gonna hit every shot, and if I die next time, I'll hit the shot. Yeah, I was having a blast back then. So
Yeah, dude. These people in the chat and these people that are gonna watch this, they have no idea what you used to be in CS:GO, man. You were a fucking beast when you came onto the scene with the op. You don't really get to op that much anymore, though, which kind of sucks.
I'm
Maybe if you
playing
play
Chamber on one
Chamber.
map, so I'm bringing it back slowly.
Let's go.
I'll
You
be
gonna
back.
play Chamber?
I'll be back. 10 years in the making.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped to see that then, because I think you would be a nutty Chamber based on what I've seen in CS and the early stages of Val. But that's honestly, bro, that's all I got for you.